Well, navigating the complexities of Medicare can be daunting. And right now, seniors have to make decisions regarding their health care coverage during the Medicare Open Enrollment Period. Joining us now with ways to make the most of this crucial period, Vincent J. Russo with another In the Legal Know. Welcome, Vincent.
Pleasure to be here.
Very important information today.
Absolutely.
Let's just start. Want to give us a little overall on Medicare?
Okay, a little overall on Medicare.
Just a little one, okay? Can you do that?
Unfortunately, the healthcare system for seniors is very complicated, but I'm going to keep it simple. Medicare, for anyone 65 or older, that's where we start, original Medicare. Part A for hospitalization coverage, Part B for doctors, and then it gets a little more complicated.
Of course it does.
All right? So there are co-insurance issues with the Medicare coverage, so that person can then buy a supplemental insurance policy called a Medigap policy. Or they can opt out of that original Medicare, and they can go to Medicare Part C. C is an Advantage plan. And so C bundles the services of A, Part A, B, and sometimes D. Now, what's D? D came in more recently as drug coverage. So seniors start with Medicare, Part A, B, should opt into D for prescription drugs, or they can opt out of the whole situation and go to Part C. So it's a little complicated.
Yeah, it really
for
is.
Seniors.
And right now, this is the time. Tell me about the enrollment period.
Right. So the enrollment period, this is the opportunity that once a year, the seniors have the options to decide, do I want to stay in original Medicare, or do I want to switch to Medicare Part C? Or do I want to get out of Medicare Part C and switch back to original Medicare? Or do I want to change my drug plan? So the key date here is December 7th. The open enrollment period started back in October. If you haven't made a decision, you've got 24 days. And you have to make decisions on your coverage. It's really important.
Yeah, it's just over 3 weeks. Okay, so what, okay, right now I'm trying to make this decision. What steps should a senior do?
Okay, so the first step would be to think about the coverage you have. And is that working for you? And then go to comparing Medicare plans. So first you got to look at coverage options. Ensure the plans cover the services and medications you need. Look at the costs. Evaluate premiums, deductibles, co-pays, out-of-pocket expenses. Think about the provider network. Are you covered? Check if your preferred healthcare providers and pharmacies are in network. And then look at it, whether you want to seek additional benefits. In a Medicare Part C plan, you can pick up dental, vision, or wellness programs. Okay. So those are things you want to look at when you're thinking about the different coverages and what makes sense for you. Okay.
Pros and cons of the Advantage plans?
Yes, so that's many seniors move to the Advantage plan, which is insurance coverage. It's an insurance carrier, as opposed to going through the original Medicare program. And so there's some pros and cons, like everything else. Here are some of the pros. Plans may have lower out-of-pocket costs and yearly limits. May have extra benefits, as I mentioned, vision, hearing, dental services. And there's no enrollment rejection if you have a pre-existing condition. Now, there's cons. You may be limited in choice of doctor or the hospital network. You may have to get prior authorizations, which you wouldn't otherwise have to in original Medicare. You may have co-pays or co-insurance, and the plan can be terminated or not renewed from year to year. So even though you're in a Medicare Part C Advantage plan and you love it, you got to make sure it's continuing for next year. They may terminate it. They may have changed it. The costs involved may have changed. So these are the things that the senior needs to focus in on.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the possibility they wouldn't even know that has changed without really, well, you don't get some sort of notice on that?
You do get notice.
Okay.
All right. So they should have received a notice back in October telling them all of this.
Good.
And December 7th is the date they have to make decisions.
Okay. So you started talking about Plan D too, right? Let's talk about what that's all about.
Yeah. So that's really important and a major change here with Part D. Drug coverage. Drugs can be so expensive.
Yeah.
So now, come January 1st, there's going to be a $2,000 cap on out-of-pocket drug costs in the Medicare program. That is major for people. Now, we also will likely see increases in premiums because of the cap. And so someone might see their Medicare premium go up $5, $10, maybe $35 here in the New York area. But very important that we're going to have this coverage, and it's going to grow. They're going to cover more and more drugs going forward with caps out next year and then following in the years to come.
Okay, resources available for people, where do I go to find out more information on this?
Okay.
Where do I get some help?
All right, so we start with Medicare.gov/plan. And so that's a really good website, and it outlines all the Medicare coverages and information you should be aware of. You can call Medicare at 1-800-MEDICARE. You can go to what's called a SHIP, a State Health Insurance Assistance Program. They're throughout the country, and they're there to help you make decisions and inform you on and answer questions that you may have. Then there are these advocacy organizations, Medicare advocacy organizations such as the Center for Medicare Advocacy or the Medicare Rights Center, wonderful resources. And then lastly, you can go to a consultant, an insurance consultant, a Medicare consultant, a senior consultant, an elder law attorney who's knowledgeable in this area, and they can give you guidance as well.
Okay, as you just said, so important, the open enrollment period till December 7th.
Right.
If somebody has Medicare right now and they don't do anything, it just rolls over to the same thing?
Yeah, they're not going to lose their coverage.
Okay.
If they're in original Medicare Parts A and B, it's going to continue, all right, and they'll be okay. But they really should be comparing what they have. Maybe their health situation changed, and now they need different types of coverage. So those are the things they need to be thinking about.
And this is the only time that you could change it between now until December 7th.
Well, there are 5 enrollment periods throughout the year, but this is the big one.
Okay, this is the big one, open enrollment period until December 7th.
Different limitations on different enrollment periods, but this is the one that major changes are made effective January 1st.
All righty. Vincent, as always, thank you so much.
My pleasure.